The era of global boiling has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. The era of global boiling. Yes, apparently, the era of global warming has ended, and now we're in the global boiling, bubbling up, water all over the place, bubbling. I mean, you don't need to have gas cookers anymore. You won't even need heat pumps because the world is boiling. Who says so? I'll tell you who says so. Have a look at this. The UN Secretary General sends this urgent message on climate crisis. This is from the London Economic, apparently. And it says on the top there, I don't know if you can see that, the era of global warming has ended. The era of global boiling has arrived. Oh my goodness, yes. And of course, we know all about the fires in Greece and how terrible that is. The BBC reporter going out. But look what he's saying here. We are looking at unbreathable air and unbearable temperatures to come. Apparently, this is what he's saying. And he's saying it. He is actually saying it with a straight face. God, it's hot in the studio today. Bloody hell. Excuse me. The temperatures are rising here in the UK. I can't tell you. Oh, it must be nearly something like, I don't know, 23 degrees centigrade and or Celsius, whatever it is. Centigrade, Celsius. Who changed the subject? Anyway, let's go back to the UN General and see what other nonsense he's coming out. Apparently, here we go. July 23. Please don't laugh. July 23 is on track to be the hottest month ever. And maybe, it says here, the hottest month in the last 120,000 years, scientists have said. Which scientists? Which scientists have said that? What idiot has put himself...
I'm a scientist. I definitely am a scientist, and I can tell you this July 2023, the hottest for 120,000... What does the script say? 120,000 years.
I mean, they must be absolutely... Maybe they boiled their own heads. Maybe that's what it is. They boiled their own heads. They now believe all this rubbish about man-made global warming. It's all our fault. Maybe you should just stop boiling an egg. You don't need to do that. Toss your eggs into the sea. Go on. They'll boil on their own accord, apparently. Don't go into the water because you'll be like the frog. You know, slowly over the years, you'll be boiling up. Blimey. What else does he say? Let's have a little gander. Temperature readings of the air and sea, as well as losses of Antarctic sea ice, have all smashed previous records this summer, manifesting in relentlessly extreme heat waves and wildfires around the world. Wildfires, eh? Wildfires, apparently. Well, let's have a look at these wildfires, shall we? Here we go. Not that one. That one. There we are. This is the Express. This is the Express. Let me just lower that down. There we go. There's the Express. And on the headline here, it says, arsonists started devastating Greece wildfires, says the desperate locals as the blazes rage. Yep. That wasn't global warming, by the way. They aren't actually the global warming are not the arsonists. The people are the arsonists. Let's get rid of that little thing coming up there. There we go. Look, they're desperately trying to sort it all out. But it says here, and this is the Express, and it says the deadly wildfires that are currently tearing through the Greek island of Corfu have been blamed on arsonists, as thousands of locals and tourists have been forced to flee the fire-ravaged island. And here we go. The mayor has revealed on Monday, the 24th of July, that arsonists was likely responsible for starting the fires, which have forced a huge number of people to evacuate. And here we go. There's another jolly old picture of some of the fires getting on. Blooming arsonists, you know, not global warming. It's not. This is all the hottest. All you see, what's going on? I mean, surely you can see this. Surely it's not just me. It can't just be me and my tiny little pea brain working this out. That this is a big ploy by those people who wish to frighten us. And it seems to me if you're frightening somebody, you're terrorising somebody by saying that the planet is now boiling. Think, well, that's what I'm going to say to the youngsters as this feeds through. They're going to think, what's the point of living? The planet is boiling. This is terrorism. This is terrorism. That UN chap, whatever his name is, I don't really care who he is, but he's obviously an idiot. Here he is. Let's get that picture of this old wizened geezer up on the thing. He's obviously a complete and utter loony, and he's spouting terrorism. Terrorism. He is a terrorist because he's terrorising people by saying such nonsense that the planet is boiling. What else did he say? Let's have a look here. July the 6th apparently was the hottest day ever recorded, with a global mean temperature of 17.08 centigrade. 17. A mean temperature of 17.08. How close is that to boiling point? It's it's pretty 83% close, isn't it? Very close. I mean, it's very, very close to boiling point if it's 17.8 as a mean temperature. But that, that apparently, that constitutes boiling. Boiling. Oh, blimey. I don't know how we've managed to survive so far. Have you managed to survive? What are you doing? Are you preparing? Have you got buckets of water to throw over you? Are you going to cope? Or are you just going to dismiss this and say, these people, the UN, United Nations, United Nutters, I think we might want to call them, the absolutely United Nutters have decided that they want to terrorise you and tell you that it is frightening. And what will you do? Put a paper bag over your head? No, of course not. Will you go swimming and just go, well, actually, if this is global boiling, maybe my veg, my organic veg that I've got in the garden, not that I've actually personally got a garden, I'm looking for some land so I can grow some organic veg and get away from all this nonsense. But if you've got your growing stuff in your garden, maybe this is actually quite useful to have a hot summer. And it's funny, isn't it? Those Greek islands that have caught fire near the Mediterranean and near the equator and all of that. I mean, I've said this before. Here we are in the summer and it's hot. Bit curious that, isn't it? Bit curious, bit weird. Of course, now I said this the other day, if it was down in February, and we had temperatures of 40-something degrees, 50, 60 degrees, I would be worried. I'd be very concerned. But a mean temperature is 17.08. Is that really such a bad thing? I don't know. It says here, and the 30th hottest days ever recorded. 21 of them have been during this month. Where? Where have these hottest days been? Exactly where have they been? Have they been all over? Everywhere? Or is this, is this being manufactured? I mean, I don't know whether you think that chemtrails is a thing or not, or is it contrails? We're all being conned about that. Chemtrails, maybe what's been going on is they've been, we know that the geoengineering stuff goes on. It's on the British government's website that they're taking it seriously. It's not just Dane Wigington, and I've had him on the show, by the way. It's not just some nonsense that is coming out. The British government and various other governments are taking this seriously. You can see the chemtrails in the sky. You can see the results. And maybe they're actually manufacturing some extra heat just for the hell of it to try and keep us a bit worried. But it's not hot. I mean, I was born in the 60s. Yes, I'm that old. I was born in the 60s, and I remember growing up some very hot summers. People of a certain age will remember those hot summers. We're not stupid. These people think that we're absolutely mad. People go to the Mediterranean countries, to those islands in Greece, for hot holidays. They go there because it's warm. It's warmer than England. Are you just trying to brainwash us? Are you trying to groom us? Are you trying to make out that we are so dim? They clearly believe the mainstream media, who always dumb everything down, people in the UN, the United Nutters, clearly they think that this is a big thing and they want us to be frightened and terrorised because they want their agenda. They want their agenda pushed forward, more of the net zero nonsense. They want us to be corralled into these 15-minute cities. They don't want to have an excuse to take away our cars, to close industry down, to make sure that we don't eat meat, and all these things that they say is contributing to man-made global warming. Well, I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's absolute phooey. It's not true. It is a load of old rubbish. And, who checks the fact checkers? That's what I would like to see. Is any fact checker checking the fact checkers who've checked that fact that the UN is now entering the global boiling? But oh no, they'll drip it. They'll drip it in. Drip, 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 like that, continuously, until the thickest member of society goes, it's global boiling, isn't it? It's global boiling. And sadly, people will believe all this nonsense. I mean, you won't, because you're an clever, sophisticated, cultivated, and very urbane, if you're watching my show, because somebody said that this was quite highbrow. Somebody, another YouTuber said about my show, said it was highbrow. I'm not sure about that. I have got eyebrows, but I don't know if I've got a high brow. But anyway, so I think some people will believe this nonsense, but other people won't. Arsonists. And it's probably, and I can't verify this, but I dare say there'll be people who are paid to set these fires around, and so that they can continue. I mean, they've got so much money, they can pay people to continue this ridiculous narrative that it is man-made global... It's man-made fires by arsonists. We're not in a boiling situation. I wish these UN people would just go away and boil their own heads.